Welcome back to The Big Show. It's Alex Belfield talking to the biggest stars and people releasing new albums, and we always like to support the Chelsea Pensioners. They've got a new album out called Men in Scarlet. Hello, boys.
Hello, Alex.
How are you? We got John and Paddy there this morning for us, talking about this new album. Would you start by telling us the history, John, of the Chelsea Pensioners?
Well, the Chelsea Pensioners really were people who helped King Charles II, who'd lost his throne and was brought up in Paris, helped him back to get his throne back in England. And he had seen how the King of France had built a hospital, a care home for his old soldiers, and he decided to do the same thing here. And he commissioned Christopher Wren to build really what is a magnificent palace almost. That was done not long after the Great Fire, and was used then to house soldiers, old soldiers, broken, as it is said, by age and by war, and can continue to look after them for the rest of their lives. So it has been continuously in use as a care home and a related infirmary for well over 300 years. If Christopher Wren came back, he would be very pleased to see that the palace itself has been preserved, the outer fabric and structure, without any serious alteration at all. But he would also have no difficulty in recognising the internal boxes, which were state-of-the-art things for people to sleep in 1690, but haven't changed all that much since.
Paddy, tell me about the singing. When did singing become a big part of the Chelsea Pensioners' lives?
Well, we must raise some money to refurbish the whole Royal Hospital, and it was just one of the ideas that somebody brought up. Let's get a group of singers. You've heard the soldiers. Well, they're the young soldiers singing, so what about the old soldiers? And they asked for volunteers, and 7 of us got together, a band of brothers singing, and this is it. This is the result. And we hope it raises quite a bit of money towards the refurbishment of our beautiful home.
Well, it's been endorsed beautifully by people like Catherine Jenkins and, of course, Dame Vera Lynn's on the album The Soldiers. Also, loads of other people. The choir from the Royal Hospital are there as well. Beautiful sound to it. We're going to finish later on with that song by Dame Vera. We opened with Catherine Jenkins. Did you get to meet her? She's one of my favourite people.
Oh, yes, we've met her quite a lot. She comes to visit us quite a lot, and she sang for us on this, making the CD. But she's adopted us and we've adopted her. She's not only the Forces pin-up, she's the Chelsea Pensioners pin-up.
Isn't she just delicious? She's the most adorable thing in real life you've ever met, isn't she?
Absolutely. She sings beautifully, she looks beautiful, and she is a very nice, friendly, sociable girl who has also found some time beyond her regular appointments to be kind and to be nice to the Chelsea Pensioners, who hold her in the very highest regard.
We all have great affection in this country for our soldiers, now more than ever, of course, because we're in a difficult time. And, of course, we love you for what you did. John, tell us your story and where you've been for us.
Well, I was never a regular soldier. I was a territorial soldier. I joined the Oxfordshire Yeomanry, which was an anti-tank gunner regiment. Was thrown out from them because they were going overseas, and I and about 7 others were judged too young. We then were remustered into heavy anti-aircraft and were in London and most of the south of England targets for the Blitz and following it. I then went across to North Africa, expecting to take part in the Sicily invasions. But one of our ships with most of our transport was sunk on the route going out, and we missed that. And then I remustered into an armoured division, 6th Armoured Division, and served with the Honourable Artillery Company, a Royal Horse Artillery Regiment, with tank-mounted artillery guns. And served all the way up through Italy and up into Austria, and remained in Austria for about 18 months after the war, when I resigned from the army, and having completed my stints, and joined the colonial service and spent the rest of my life wandering around the what we used to be called the Empire.
How do you feel about the news just out about us joining the French and all becoming one? Is that a good thing, or does that worry you?
Well, I think we haven't got much choice. I don't think people generally understand how desperately how poor our country is now. I think we're all going to have to suffer and put up with things, one views with some suspicion, I'm afraid, the reliance upon any other foreign nation for active cooperation. But I don't think we have any choice, and we have many long service histories and relationships with the French. I think we have no choice, and I think both countries will make the best of a bad job.
And Paddy, tell us your story.
Well, I'm quite young. John's our oldest member, but
how young are you?
I'm 77. John's 89. John will be 90 next birthday. Now, I joined the army in York in 1951. I joined the Hussars. My three brothers had been in during the war, so I followed them. And I served mainly Germany because, waiting for the Russians, we were armoured cars and tanks. I had a stint in helicopters as well, air troop sergeant. But went to Cyprus, went to Northern Ireland 4 years instructing in the 50s, nice and quiet then. And so most of my life was Germany. And then I became an army recruiter in the northeast. That's our Geordie Regiment recruiting area in Durham. And in a one-man office, I signed on 2,500 kids. And that's about my army. I did 38 years total service, and now 9 years at Chelsea.
When you get to sing these songs, what do you feel? Great pride, because they're all wonderful songs, let's face it, bless them all. And, of course, the Men in Scarlet is the title of the album, and that's track 2. How do you feel when you sing these songs?
Certainly pride, and it's memories. It's wonderful, because as long as I've had anything to do with the army, we've sang those songs, and loved by all.
Yes, me too. I totally agree. But there is a great variety in the songs. Many of them are songs that old soldiers knew, some from World War One, World War Two, and later. But there are other totally different songs, obviously from Catherine, and I think there is something for everybody. And what I do hope and think and believe is that people will hear them and then go away and start singing them to themselves. They're eminently singable.
The great thing about the Chelsea Pensioners, of course, is you're always wonderfully turned out. How much fuss is that to get all your garb on and look so marvellous every time you appear?
Well, it's no fuss, believe you me. It makes you very proud. If you go out in civilian clothes, people are liable to push you off the pavement. But when you go out in scarlet, people look up to you. And even on the buses, people older than me will stand up to give me a seat. And travelling abroad, you can get upgraded to business class.
Is that true?
Oh, that is true. Twice it's happened to me.
Wonderful.
Yes,
can I try that? Would that be wrong?
Yeah. Oh, no. In Northern Ireland last year, I said to a little schoolgirl with my scarlet coat, I said, "This hasn't changed since 1700. She says, "Oh, you've kept it very clean."
And my final question to both of you, is it nice for you that we care? Because the last thing we want is for our legends, our soldiers, to be forgotten when they get older. What you're doing is keeping alive a tradition and, of course, the memories.
Yes, indeed. But, of course, our thoughts really are towards the young soldiers now, who in many cases are being saved from the dreadful wounds of modern weapons, but saved by the marvellous improvements in medical corps services. But it does mean that there are now young fit men with dreadful wounds who are doing their best and succeeding very often in clawing their way back to more than a semblance of normal life. But age will bear its toll inevitably. The motto of our hospital is it is built for the aid and comfort of soldiers broken by age and by war, and the war damage is pro rata is rather different to what it was in my day, for instance. And you have to remember that all these young men are marvellously struggling back to normal life. They're in no hurry to join a bunch of old men, but they will be needing that kind of performance. And what, among other things, we hope to do, it won't be in my time, we hope to see a modern infirmary and a modern care home here, coping with all the ever-increasing demands of age coupled with serious wounds.
Thank you so much for coming on to today, boys. Really great honour for me to speak to you. The Chelsea Pensioners' brand new album is out now. It's called Men in Scarlet, and it's tremendous. I love track 5, The White Cliffs of Dover, a beautiful song, of course, made famous by Dame Vera Lynn, and you got to sing with her. We'll play that track now. John and Paddy, thanks for coming on the programme.
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.